Hi Scorpio, and welcome to your past life tarot reading. This tarot reading is timeless, so whenever you view this video is when the messages contained within the reading are most relevant for you to see. All the decks I'm using and the meaning of their placement in this reading is listed in the description box below if you are interested in that. So Scorpio, I'm really going to try and hone in on who you were in this past life, your personality, the kind of life you lived, the people that you were involved with, as much detail as I can gather about the past life that's coming through. And honestly, it has been a huge mixed bag. You are my last reading. So I would say Aries, Taurus, and Gemini all kind of had similar readings, but then everybody else is like just different. Alright, Scorpio, so let's see what comes out for you. We have father, spouse, persecution, and inquisition. Wow. So before I speculate on this and start telling the story, I'm going to pull more cards, because what accompanies this is really going to direct the way the message goes for me. But many of you were married, and the father energy could represent you being a father, or if you were a female, if you were a female, it could also represent your father, but it could also represent the father of your children. So let's just get more information before we even speculate. So I'm going to pull a card here to see what your zodiac sign was in your past life. And we have the Master of Orbs, which to me is the Aquarian energy. So you were an Aquarius in your past life, and if you have Aquarius in your South Node in your natal chart, this reading is especially strong for you. So let's pull another oracle card to get a sense of who you were as this Aquarius in this life. And this is also coming out as masculine energy, so I feel like many of you were a male Aquarius and you were a father. Okay, so I just really strong that you were a male Aquarius and you were a father. But again, we'll pull more cards. Alright, we have the River Queen, flowing, letting go, natural movement. So you were somebody who was quite intuitive, alright? And I'm not surprised, because we have persecution and inquisition. So I'm going to say many of you may have been a psychic and had spiritual ability. Alright, and that's how you lived your life. It wasn't so much based on your own desires or anything like that. You just had this natural connection to the universe, and you understood what's meant to be is meant to be, and what's not is not, and nothing can be pushed or forced. Like, you went with the currents of life and you let things go. And it's not to say you didn't experience heartache and pain, but even in that place, you let it go. Okay, this is like Piscean energy, so you could have been an Aquarius rising Pisces, or Aquarius with a Pisces moon in this past life, just with this energy right here. Okay, you were very intelligent, coming out as this energy, very intelligent, not only with life, but also of matters of the soul, of the heart. You were very psychic, very intuitive. So let's pull two more cards to get more information about your personality and traits about you, for the good or the bad. You know, because there's good qualities and bad qualities to everybody. So we have peace, yeah. So you were a calm, gentle, kind person, okay? You probably weren't making waves. Yeah, balance. You were very balanced. Yeah, you just went with the flow of life. There was nobody quite like you, okay? You were a very calm, cool, collected person. You were connected to your emotions and you were intuitive, but you also had keen logic of your mind. So it would be very hard to manipulate you, to fool you, to trick you. You were very wise on so many levels. And again, I'm feeling masculine energy, but even at that, you were so soft and gentle. So let's pull some Gaia Tarot to see what the predominant experiences you had in this past life. You were a really beautiful person, Scorpio. Totally beautiful person. So we have the Earth King. So I feel like this is who your spouse was. They were an Earth sign. Or, you know, with this father energy, but we'll see. Oh my goodness. And then we have the Fire King. The Counselor. Union. So, what I feel with these cards, Scorpio, is your profession, because we have the Counselor and we have this River Queen, like this lineup of energy, Counselor, River Queen, and Master of Orbs. You were like a counselor of some kind, a therapist, of the like emotions, or like dealing with the mentally ill, or people who have been traumatized on some level, like a counselor. That is what you did, and you were so wise and intelligent, but you also had this emotional water energy working through you. With counselor here too, some of you, honestly, you could have been practicing mediumship, and like that's how you were a counselor. Like you were the conduit between the physical and the non-physical, bringing messages to others. Okay, that's definitely relevant here in these cards, because we have persecution and inquisition. Now, with union and spouse, you were married and you were very much in like love. There's one person for you, and that was that. But we have two male energies here, the King of Earth and the King of Fire. So I feel strongest that you were an Aquarius male, all right? So for me, what this means is your own father was very predominant and significant in your life, and this could be for the good or the bad, it just doesn't really say. And then your spouse comes through. So all that's really coming through for you is your connection with your twin flame here, and you were very much in love, and like your psychic ability, or like you were a counselor. But I feel like even if you were a counselor or a therapist helping people through traumas, it was still like psychically based, all right? And there may have been issue or may have not been issue with your father. Now, even if you were a female Aquarius, the same applies, and there may have been issue with your father. But as far as your spouse goes, your twin flame, your union, no, that was very beautiful and connected, and you as a person were very balanced and peaceful. So let's pull some Gypsy cards to get more information about all of this, because we have three like people energies and then the union. You could have just been very close to your father. you know, I don't really get a sense like of a bad relationship because of how you are peace and you are balance and you're so connected into the universe. Like, I don't feel like it was a bad relationship. I just feel like you were very close to your father. And, you know, your twin flame was also like the next most significant relationship in your life. We have friend, waiting, despair, sighs. So this friend speaks to this counselor energy, okay? And with despair here, yeah, you really helped people through trauma, okay? And like waiting, just all of this. I'm sorry, Scorpio, I just feel like you were a psychic of some kind. And honestly, with persecution and inquisition here, either your family like disowned you because of your ability, or you were literally like hung at the stake or burned at the stake because of your ability, just depending on what era you were born into, okay? But even if you were like cut out by your family, there was still a balance and peace and understanding within you where you accepted that. It might have been very painful because you were very close to your father. So if you were cut out of your father's life because of your ability, you know, that would have been a very painful situation for you, but you accepted it because you flow, letting go, natural movement, like you accepted things, you understood things on such a higher level. But whatever, I feel, like I said, even if you were a therapist, it's like it was psychically based. And you helped bring messages and clarity to people that were waiting for like an answer, like, will my lover and I ever get back together? Will this happen? Will that happen? Like, you took them out of that waiting period. Like, that's how accurate you were. You were able to give them information. And then like those who were depressed and wanting to give up or who had been very traumatized, you were able to heal them and help them through it, okay? And with this, you know, people again who are just waiting around, are lost in life, don't know which direction to go, you brought them clarity. You were like a healing friend to everybody, and that was your profession. That is what you did. You were a psychic, like that's just, and you couldn't be anything other than that. And whoever your spouse was, like, totally embraced you and accepted you 100% for who and what you are, and encouraged it, I believe, because this persecution and inquisition came later in life, all right? And but you were okay. Like, it's like you accepted it no matter what happened, whether you were just cut out of family or other people's lives, or, you know, mocked by certain crowds or whatever, or you were literally put to your own death because of your ability. Like, you accepted that, and there was no anger or hatred within you. You were peace, you were balance, you were so connected in to the universe. You just accepted things, like, you accepted them because you could see the bigger picture. Like, wow, Scorpio. And a lot of this is probably embodied in your experience of the now, okay? Because you were very psychic in this life, very psychic. And, you know, this could, to me, this is a Pisces card, just because, you know, she's a fish here, but because you are Scorpio, this could you know, talk about perhaps you were an Aquarius rising Scorpio or Aquarius rising Pisces with a Scorpio moon. You were extremely psychic. Like, I don't even know how to put that into words for you. Like, you were accurate just beyond. Okay? Like, if you, like, your twin flame, if you had a prediction or a dream or a feeling about something, they believed you 100. That's how accurate you were, okay? So let's take a look at your soul cycle, where you were at in your soul cycle. So yeah, this life you're experiencing right now is just an extension of this energy. You are still working with your psychic ability, okay? And how, for some of you, it's really turned on, and for others of you, not so much. But every single one of you watching this reading has it. There's no question, okay? Many of you watching this reading, one of two things, like, there could, I don't know, with Father here, it's a solid relationship, like I said, but it's like coming out and being totally real about who you are causes issue, could cause pain, but we're in a new chapter, so maybe, you know, the life you're living now, this energy's mended, but because this twin flame energy is so strong, this spouse is definitely your spouse or your one in this life, okay? You're still working with this energy, this life, big time, you know, with your psychic ability and this twin flame love and this energy between you and your father for the good or the bad, okay? It's just part of this soul cycle. And maybe for some of you, this lifetime, maybe your mom walked out on you and your father's the one who raised you, okay? It's just very strong father energy, very strong twin flame energy, very strong psychic ability coming through in this reading. So let's see what your material life was like. So we have a 7 here, the 7 of crystal. So what this tells me is there was money, but you may have struggled. Like, there was a waiting period for things to pay off for you. Maybe you didn't make a whole lot of money doing this psychic work, or maybe you refused money when you did this psychic work, okay? But there was a struggle and a waiting period at some point in your life, but you had money, okay? You were comfortable. Money came in. It's not like you lived in poverty or anything like along those lines, but there was a point where you were really waiting for things to take off for you, okay? So let's take a look at a Cups card to see what your relationship connections were. Yeah, you, with this card, just based on everything I see here, it's like there came a point where it was just you and your twin flame. Even though you were helping all these people and everybody you helped really loved and adored you, it was like your friend connections, your family connections really shunned you and shut you out for some reason, for who and whatever you were. Hell, maybe you could have had the psychic ability, but then maybe you were also in love with somebody of the same gender. And at the time that this life is taking place, perhaps that was really unacceptable. And that's why you were cut out from the family. But what this tells me is, you know, persecution and inquisition, but there was somebody who stood beside you through it all, and that's your twin flame. That's like the strongest energy here, is that connection, and it just held you together. So let's pull a card to see what the greatest challenge you faced in this life was. Yeah, we have the 7 of Orbs. So we have 2 7s and 2 5s here, Scorpio. So 5s and 7s, look that up for angel numbers. 7, 5, and then 55, and 77, 57, 55, 77. I mean, any combination of those numbers is quite relevant to you. Okay, so this here is all about deception and betrayal and people being sneaky and stabbing you in the back, things like that. So I feel, again, there are connections in your life where they could not accept you for who and what you were. And it was either your choice in who you loved romantically, even if it was the opposite sex, maybe they just didn't feel like whoever this person was like worthy of you or whatever. But it's just, you were shut out and disconnected and cut off. And the only person that you felt like had your back in the end, that really knew you, was your twin flame. And I don't want to say people didn't love you. You were a friend to everybody. But you, because of this amazing spiritual being you were, there's only one person in the whole world that you could truly connect with, and that was your twin flame. And they stood by you through the end. It was a very beautiful union. But I feel like everybody else cut you out, cut you off, and kind of stabbed you in the back. And that was really challenging for you. Like, there's just something about you being honest with everybody about who you truly were. And the two things that are strongest here is your psychic ability, and many people do shun you and cut you off, and depending on what era, that could have been completely taboo, and they say you are the devil. So that could be, but also if you were interested in the same gender, and that's, you know, the love connection you had, that could have been very taboo depending on what era, or the combination of both. Okay, so there's definitely this element of you feeling like you have to hide who you are, and, you know, it brings you depression and sadness emotionally. But there definitely comes a point where you're like, you know what, I am who I am, you accept me or you don't. And you are okay with those who don't accept you and want to cut you out, because you have your twin flame and you realize that's all you truly need. So let's pull some cards, some major arcana, to see what energies from this life come with you into this current incarnation. You know, like karma energies for the good or the bad. We have the higher self. Yup, I'm not surprised to see this. Like I said, you were in the middle of this cycle of your soul. Yes, my Scorpio, you are very psychic. You are very intuitive. You are the counselor this lifetime, just as you were in this past lifetime. But because of the persecution that you received, you block yourself. You start this life out blocking yourself from your true psychic ability and power. And through time, as you work on and release that trauma of this past life, you will come more into your psychic ability. And some of you, at the point of watching this reading, you're already there. Okay, but know that yes, this is a cycle of your soul. You're working on being this oracle, on being this psychic medium healer, you know, whatever your genre is. And abundance. This here is saying you were a very beautiful soul, and so this life you are meant to receive rewards of that, whether it's lots of energy of friends and connection, people who really love you, or for some of you it could be material gains and rewards. But this is saying, you know, there's a return to you this lifetime because of the beautiful person that you were. And then we have the Tower. So yeah, like I said, some of you come into this life being kind of shut off to your gift because of the trauma of this persecution and inquisition that you experienced. And like lightning, it turns on at some point in this life. There's a trickle of it always throughout your whole life, but at some point it's going to hit you like a bolt of lightning out of the sky, and it's just like a switch is gonna just turn right on, just psh, on, and you are gonna be like, oh my goodness. But you know, you've been working on this energy, and you're, you know, I would say going on the other side of the pendulum now, in the cycle of your soul. But Scorpio, you are very psychic this lifetime, as well as the one coming forth in this reading that you have experienced before. And that's the energy you're choosing to work with in the current cycle that your soul is in. So do not doubt your abilities, and I would highly encourage you to open yourself up to your psychic gifts 100%, because it's meant to be part of your journey this lifetime. Like, it just is. And some of you, just that willingness and wanting to open up, you will find yourself shocked, okay, shocked about how psychic you are. And you know, that twin flame love, definitely comes through in this higher self card, okay? That is meant to follow you into this lifetime as well. Like, you guys have more to do with each other, and they might be quite significant and instrumental in your psychic growth and abilities. So for some of you, it's like you're living a pretty normal life, and then this spirituality and psychic ability just starts becoming prominent, and that becomes like the main thing going on in your life. And you may align with the twin flame at that time, because I feel like they too are somebody who is working on being, you know, with their spiritual and psychic gifts. So that is what I have for you, Scorpio. I hope that you have enjoyed this reading. Take care.